Welcome to 217 Kolak YT. The chapter starts, and we see Suho punch Lee Sung with a very dangerous blow, and Lee Sung's condition becomes extremely bad. In his mind, he says, because of this attack, a hole has formed inside my stomach. Also, due to my broken jaw, I am unable to speak. Lee Sung had thought that after obtaining the Apostle of the Iterim, he would fix his broken life, because after Cataclysm, Lee Sung's life had been completely ruined. Even in his last moments, Lee Sung keeps remembering Lim Tae-gyu. He wonders why he is thinking about Lim Tae-gyu at this time. After that, Lee Sung says, "Why are you looking at me with those pitiful eyes?" and Suho lands his final blow. Then a notice shows you defeat the Lee Sung Apostle of the Iterim and obtain his memories. Peru says, young monarch has accomplished this. He has defeated the Apostle of the Iterim. Suho replies, the one who smiled at the end wasn't Apostle of the Iterim. It was Lee Sung. I never really talked much to Lee Sung, but it felt like he was firm about his desires. Baru thinks to himself, the young monarch has killed a human for the first time. Surely, he must be quite shocked. Moving forward, Suho says, because of Lee Sung, I've realized something. After becoming a player, I was only living to find my mom and help my dad. I had forgotten what my own purpose was. That's why Lee Sung had called me a character without ego, someone who didn't even know himself. At that moment, Suho suddenly remembers his father. He feels deeply influenced by him, and at the same time, becomes desperate to surpass him. After his loss, Suho became even more frustrated because his dad seemed overwhelmingly powerful. That's when Suho realized he needed to do something he had never done, never thought of, never even imagined. He decides, it would be good if I became strong. I will become stronger than anyone, stronger than Apostle of the Iterim, and even the monarchs. I will surpass even my dad. This is my ego now. After hearing Suho's words, everyone around him seemed a bit surprised. Baru says, surely, surpassing young monarch is impossible, but still, I'll support you. Essel says, being stronger than Lord Sang Jinwoo won't be too difficult. Suho thanks them for their discouraging words with a hint of sarcasm. Then Suho checks his rewards. He receives a lot of experience points, and his level increases by 2. A notification pops up. You have reached a certain level. Do you want to accept the class change quest? Seeing this, Suho thinks to himself, what is all this? Oh, so after reaching level 40, you can change your class. He checks his stats and says, it looks like finally, the empty class will be replaced. Next, we see a fragment watching Suho from a distance. The fragment says, how foolish I was to underestimate the black mask. Just as I feared, now I must act. Moving on, we see that after merging with the fragment of Apostle of the Iterim, using the authority of the scale of equivalent exchange, the enemy absorbs the life force of all believers around him, the hunters controlled by Apostle of the Iterim, and converts it into mana. He then uses it to create a star fragment. Meanwhile, Baru prepares to extract information from Lee Sung's body, but at that moment, the Apostle of the Iterim forces the fragment into Suho's body. Everyone panics. Suho himself cannot understand where the attack came from. He falls to the ground, thinking, it feels like something has entered my head. The longevity effect activates, which makes Suho immune to any disease, poison, substance, or other abnormalities. However, the dispel effect fails. The longevity effect analyzes the infection and confirms that this status effect is similar to the mist mind infection. It tries to dispel it using mist mind data but fails again. Because it's from another world, the system becomes unstable. The longevity effect attempts 3 more times to heal Suho, but it keeps failing. The fragment declares, now the authority of darkness is ours. However, suddenly, even Apostle of the Iterim looks shocked, because the status effect gets successfully analyzed, and the dispel finally succeeds. The system starts to recover. Suho thinks to himself, thank goodness the longevity effect activated. Now I just need to cover my wounds with shadows. But we see that Suho's HP starts to drop rapidly. Not understanding what's happening, he hastily accepts the class change window in front of him. A notification appears, class change quest has begun. Only the player can proceed. To ensure smooth progression, the descendants of the monarch have been moved to the shadow dungeon. The fragment watches all this with great shock. Unable to understand what is happening, we then see darkness and Suho say it's dark, am I dead? And after that, Suho finds himself standing inside a shadow dungeon, and we see Apostle of the Iterim appeared near Lee Sung's body. He said that he couldn't detect any magic nearby, and that he couldn't believe a gate had suddenly opened and taken away Black Mask and his soldiers. However, It hadn't taken Lee Sung along. This meant the gate that opened could only be used by Black Mask and his teammates. Whenever we fight Darkness and Black Mask, something unexpected always happens. Next, we see Suho noticing that his injury is healed. He then receives a message saying that descendants of other monarchs cannot participate in the advancement quest, and that he cannot use the Shadow Dungeon's key here either. Seeing this, Suho says that he can't use his bond skill or the key to open Shadow Dungeons. This place is a dungeon where he completed his tutorial. The dungeon was created by his father for him. At that time, when he fell into it, it eventually disappeared. Now, only memories of it remain. There are no enemies here that he can defeat to level up, and no weapons are visible either. He wonders if this was supposed to happen after the volcano horn was destroyed. Strangely, no details about the quest have been provided. If he has to open doors and climb forward like he did back then, will he have to do it without any weapons and without his bond skill? Suho moves forward, feeling that this place seems a bit strange. He mentions that he can hear different kinds of sounds. As he moves ahead, Suho sees a door. He remembers that behind this door, he once fought the knight. He wonders if by completing this quest, he can become as strong as he was back then. Suho opens the door and sees no one else but himself from that time. He is extremely shocked and says, "Will I have to defeat my past self?" The old Suho had defeated even Baru at full strength. The old Suho punches the present Suho, defeating him instantly. Suho respawns back at the starting point. We see one of the torches extinguish. Suho says, "Did I just respawn again? In this advancement quest, do I have to defeat my past self? Is that even possible?" He remembers that the system is meant to make him stronger. If there's someone behind that door, there must be a way to defeat them. Suho then realizes that this dungeon has multiple paths, unlike the previous one. He figures out that the boss's room is in an odd place, meaning there must be another door. Suho starts looking for another door and finds one. He wonders who could be behind this boss room now. He opens the door and is shocked to find baby Suho there. Suho is stunned and wonders, what is going on in this dungeon? Do I have to fight my baby form? Even if it's me, fighting a baby feels wrong. Just then, baby Suho uses the ruler's authority on him, immobilizing Suho. Baby Suho then defeats him as well. The second torch extinguishes. Suho respawns once more. He says, "I can't defeat the opponents here yet. How will I complete this quest?" He recalls that, like in the tutorial, he was given 3 lives, and now 2 of his lives are already gone. At that moment, many torches appear around him and start glitching. Suho is completely confused about what's happening. Suddenly, he receives a system message. Due to substances from another world, the system is encountering errors. Please defeat the being behind the door with your remaining life. You are unable to leave the dungeon until the class change is completed. Suho moved forward, thinking that the paths ahead were quite strange, with random rooms built everywhere. Surely, there could be more boss doors. But the problem was, he had no idea how big this maze was. Anyway, since he had no time limit, he decided to calmly search around. As Suho moved forward, he suddenly sensed some presence, and he saw that it was Baby Toy and Baby Suho. Suho was shocked, wondering what Baby Suho was doing outside the room. Suho tried to run, but Baby Suho bit Suho's leg with his toy. This startled Suho even more. He thought, the bosses here are unbelievably strong. How am I supposed to complete this quest? As he moved forward, old Suho suddenly appeared before him. Seeing him, Suho understood that nothing good was going to happen now. Young Suho kicked the new Suho, and once again, Suho respawned. From this, Suho confirmed that the infinite torches appearing were actually all representations of his own lives. Now that Suho had infinite chances, he thought about defeating some boss from a different room. We see Suho trying many times, but each time he was killed either by the young Suho or by baby Suho. Suho realized that due to the system error, apart from those 2 boss rooms, there were no other boss rooms around. Suho became confused, wondering what to do next. There wasn't even any environment where he could level up. Suho recalled his own words, where he had promised to become the strongest. He made a decision. He cut his finger and started drawing paths with his blood, saying, "I will keep drawing paths until the time I die." After this, the scene shifts to the city, where the news is running that Star Powder has been shut down because it was causing many hunters to lose their memories. It was also revealed that behind Star Powder was the Reaper Guild's vice guild master, Lee Sang. Found dead, we see that in the Hunter Association, Lim Taegyu, Choi, and Fragment were all watching this news. Lim Taegyu said, "Forgive me. This is all my fault. If only I hadn't trusted Lee Sung back then, none of this would have happened." Jinchul replied, "Hunter Lim, don't blame yourself too much." When Lee Sang appeared, he didn't look normal at all. Yet he had no transformation skill either. Choi said, "Are you suggesting that his condition was caused by star powder?" "I'm not entirely sure, but it's possible." Also, there was another hunter fighting Lee Sung, wearing a black mask. Choi said, "Maybe that same person finished Lee Sung." Hearing this, Jinchul thought to himself, "A hunter wearing a black mask." Choi continued, "Oh yes, I just remembered. A hunter who was supposed to join the mining party is missing. His name is Sung Suho. He was listed as a D-rank hunter, but given the situation, there's a chance he's actually a false ranker." Fragment said, "Can I see his photo?" Choi replied, "Of course. After all, you were involved in this incident too." Fragment looked at Suho's photo. Jinchul thought to himself, "Surely, the black mask hunter must be Suho. But now, Jinwoo is also missing. What is happening to Suho? I hope he's okay." Fragment checked Suho's photo and realized, yes, it was the black mask hunter. Meanwhile, Suho had died countless times, creating many blood-drawn paths. Scene shift to Amit and to others where Amit says, "Offert flying in a circle won't bring the young monarch back. Calm down, Baru? You cold reptile. How could you tell me to calm down when there is no way of knowing how the young monarch faces the problem at this moment?" Baru starts crying and says, "I am too concerned to even sleep." Essel, I understand why Baru is acting like that, because it's already been 2 weeks since young monarch entered the gate. Amit, you seem to be worried about the young monarch. To Essel rather, are not being too cold-hearted, your companion just like we are. Amit, if anything, are you even properly looking at the young monarch? I understand that you seem to treat the young monarch as a child in comparison to the immense being called the Shadow Monarch. But I've never met this Shadow Monarch. All I know is the young monarch, who never uttered a word of giving up despite having his bones broken, his flesh ruptured, and his mind driven to the limit. I am certain that no matter what trials he undergoes, he will be safe." Essel, well, you are not wrong. All we can do is to believe in young monarch. Scene shift back to Suho, where Suho was fighting with baby Suho and striker Suho. Only one last place was left. Suho thought, if there's no door here either, it means I can't complete this advancement quest without defeating them. Suho also noticed something. Every time he entered a new path, the enemies approached him a little faster. Once again, baby Suho appeared before him. Suho thought, looks like he's stopping me from moving forward. Suho moved forward, thinking, ruler's authority is an invisible force. If I cover my surroundings with ruler's authority, I can save myself. Then does baby Suho attack? We see that Suho managed to defend himself using his ruler's authority. Taking advantage of this, Suho advanced and saw a new path ahead. Suho thought to himself, this is the only place I haven't explored. He quickly moved there and saw a door ahead. As Suho approached, he noticed that Soul Striker Suho was rushing toward him at great speed. Suho opened the door, realizing that besides those two, someone else was also there. Soul Striker Suho chased after him, but Suho managed to close the door, thinking, he shouldn't be able to follow me here. Finally, Suho thought, I've made it here, but this is not over yet. The important thing now is to know who is inside. Based on what he had seen so far, Suho guessed that it could be a past version of himself. Maybe the Suho from the first half of the tutorial, or even from the very beginning. As he thought this, we see that the past Suho, the one with 2 twib swords, appeared behind him. And we see Suho, who is ready to fight with his old version twin sword. Seeing him, Suho thought to himself, this time, the Suho standing before me has twin swords, the tutorial Suho and baby Suho. Both of these existed in my past versions. The Suho standing before me now has Raken's Fong and Vulcan's Horn. Is this created because of an error? Suho looks at the other Suho stats and becomes very happy. He immediately attacks this new Suho. Suho thinks to himself, finally, someone has appeared who I can fight properly. My stats are superior to his. First, we are shown the stats of the second Suho, and then Suho's own stats. We see that Suho's strength is much greater than the other Suho. However, the second Suho activates multi-skills too, increasing his defense and attack power. He then uses the Grassland Gale skill, boosting his mental speed and attack speed. After that, he uses another skill, Giant Armor, which further increases his defense power. Seeing all this, Suho thinks to himself, body enhancement? Isn't that the Amit skill he used? Why does he have so many buffs? The second Suho attacks Suho very quickly. Suho barely manages to dodge the attacks. The second Suho then uses the Storm Slash skill. Suho pulls out his daggers and thinks, does he also have the Storm Slash? We see both of their Storm Slashes clash. Suho gets a small slash on his cheek. He thinks, thank goodness I kept my daggers with me. I had a feeling my secondary weapons might break someday. As the present Suho's cheek gets slashed, he suddenly recalls a memory where he had defeated Brokey. Suho thinks, what memory is this? This isn't how I defeated Brokey. Is this a mental attack? Another slash hits him, and he sees yet another unfamiliar memory. He realizes, this memory isn't mine either. Am I receiving mental attacks whenever I get injured? Suho distances himself from the second Suho. But the second Suho summons a shadow soldier named Quay, whose rank is Knight. A fight breaks out between Suho and the shadow soldier. While Suho is battling the shadow, the second Suho tries to attack him again. Suho dodges the first attack, but they both continue their fight. Suho thinks, summoning a shadow soldier in thin air like this. Does this mean he already has shadow storage at level 32? He has the ability to store shadows. As Suho keeps fighting, he starts understanding that the memories flooding his mind actually belong to this other Suho. These are experiences from another world, where Baru, Essel, Gray, and Amut are all different. Even Suho himself is different there. In that world, he handles incidents smoothly. The system had given that Suho several trials, and by completing them, that Suho grew stronger. Suho isn't sure if the Suho was created because of a system error or something else. Suho throws away his daggers and grabs the Shadow's weapon barehanded. He thinks, why does the system always give me such hard trials? Why do I always have to push my limits? Here, completing the trial isn't the only difficulty. Suho realizes he has died countless times just trying to survive these overwhelming enemies. The second Suho tries to attack from behind. Suho uses the captured Shadow as a shield and blocks the attack. He thinks, after dying infinite times, I've learned one thing. Staying still in this place leads nowhere. Suho punches the second Suho's sword, sending it flying. He thinks, the problem isn't whether the system has errors or not. It's that I've been using the system the wrong way from the beginning. The system isn't there to raise me, I must use it on my own terms. The second Suho attacks with his sword again, but Suho dodges by jumping. Suho resolves, I won't walk the path the system lays out for me anymore. My future changes according to my own choices. He transfers the Shadow to his leg and kicks the second Suho powerfully. Then, he delivers a strong punch to his stomach, completely finishing him off. A system message pops up. Suho has defeated the being behind the door and completed the class change quest. Suho receives the title, One Who Overcame Adversity. This title grants him a stat bonus. Whenever Suho loses stamina, his stats increase proportionally. For example, if he loses 1% stamina, all his stats increase by 1%. The second Suho and his Shadow begin to vanish. The system announces it is now searching for a class for Suho, since Suho fought without surrendering, even after dying countless times, and because he kept growing mentally and physically under impossible conditions. The system offers him a choice between 3 classes. First class, Successor of Shadows. Upon selecting this class, the system will become a pathfinder to lead you down the best road to become the Successor of Shadows. Second class, Soul Striker. Bestowing the hidden class, Soul Striker, after reading the past data of the player. Past stat points will not be recovered. The Shadow skill will disappear. Third class, Unnamed. This is the recommended class after taking the traits of the player into account. Will change into a hidden class depending on the achievements in the class change quest. The Shadow skill will disappear. After seeing all the options, Suho thinks, the first path is the path of the past. The second path is also the past. And the third, it's about losing everything to gain something new. Is the system seriously messing with me? Frustrated, Suho says, enough of your nonsense. I've endured so much, died countless times, and this is all the reward I get. Suho then decides to take matters into his own hands. We see Suho merging all 3 classes together, creating a massive burst of light. The system announces, you have completed the class change quest. Your classes. We see the Shadow Dungeon, where everyone is very worried. Essel said that it had been 3 weeks, but there was still no news of the young monarch. Baru says, "Crocodile, the young monarch is safe, right?" Amut replied, "It seems something much bigger has happened. I didn't think it would take this long for the young monarch to recover." Just then, Suho appeared and greeted everyone, saying, "How are you all? I hope you're doing well." Seeing Suho, everyone became extremely happy. Then, we were shown Jin Cheol and Jin Ho at the Hunter Association. Jin Ho asked, "Is there still no news about Suho?" Jin Cheol apologized and said, "Forgive me for saying this, but there are some rumors in the association related to Suho. The atmosphere in the Hunter Association hasn't been great lately. To settle the matter of Lee Sung, some are assuming that Suho killed Lee Sung." Hearing this, Jin Ho shouted, "That's impossible. Our Suho could never do such a thing. He can never be a murderer." Jin Cheol agreed and said, "I don't think Suho did it either. Maybe it's related to that apostle of the Iterum that Suho had once mentioned." Jin Ho thought to himself, "In my previous life, I couldn't do anything for Jinwoo. He fought alone. I must make sure Suho doesn't go down the same path." Just then, Jin Cheol received an alert notification on his mobile that another dungeon break had occurred. Seeing this, Jin Cheol thought to himself, "How many times has this happened? And now, another dungeon break again." We then saw magic beasts emerging due to the dungeon break, wreaking havoc among humans. A hunter said, "Damn it. How did such a huge dungeon break happen right in the middle of the city? What is the Hunter Guild even doing? They are supposed to be in charge of this area." It was revealed that the Apostle of the Iterum was behind the dungeon break. His plan was to create chaos himself, then solve it, and earn more trust from the Hunter Association. The Apostle of the Iterum thought, "The bigger the damage, the more I'll get attention. When the situation becomes critical, I'll step in, defeat the monsters, and portray myself as a hero." Humans are such strange creatures. They only remember those who trend. They don't even recall the names of hunters who actually saved them and die. Then we saw a B-rank hunter named Hwang Jae-hyung arriving at the scene. He slashed at a monster and told everyone to stay behind him. Seeing the B-rank hunter, the Apostle of the Iterum thought to himself, "Just a B-rank? I guess I'll need to power up my monsters a bit." The Apostle of the Iterum strengthened the monsters. The monster attacked Hwang Jae-hyung fiercely, overpowering and defeating him. Hwang Jae-hyung thought to himself, "What is this? How did this monster's mana increase so much all of a sudden?" The monster completely annihilated Hwang Jae-hyung, and only low-rank hunters remained. The monster then started targeting them. A poor D-rank hunter, terrified, thought, "Oh no, I just healed my leg and bought a new weapon. I'm just a D-rank hunter. I was foolish to think I could save people from magic beasts." The beast attacked the D-rank hunter, but just in time, Suho appeared. He swiftly eliminated all the beasts. It turned out that this D-rank hunter was someone we had seen earlier in the story. The hunter thought, "Wait, isn't this the masked man who did those solo raids? I heard he was just a low-ranking hunter. How did he defeat these monsters so easily?" Suho thought, "This is the perfect chance to test my new class skills." He extracted the shadows of the beasts and used them to create weapons, attaching them to himself and the low-rank hunters. The hunters were confused, having no idea what was happening to them. Even Baru was amazed. He asked Suho, "Young monarch, can you now use the shadows form on others as well?" Suho replied, "This skill doesn't just change the form, Baru. It doesn't modify the shadows but turns them into weapons." The extracted beasts became weapons, each customized differently for each hunter. Seeing this, Baru was shocked and thought, "Is it possible that young monarch can now create items using the shadows? Even my liege doesn't have such ability." This was the power of young monarch's class change, Shadow Naga Warrior. Suho said, "Now, I don't need to hide anymore," and removed his mask. More beasts approached, and Suho asked the hunters, "If you can still fight, will you assist me?" Meanwhile, the Apostle of the Iterum observed everything from the top of a building and thought, so he finally showed up. "I've never seen an ability like this before. Surely, he is different." The Apostle of the Iterum questioned Suho mentally, "Is this your way of separating yourself from the darkness?" Then, we got a glimpse of Suho's stats and more information about the irregular White Shadow class. It has a skill called Shadow Creation, an exclusive skill that doesn't require mana. Suho can change shadows using his imagination, but once a shadow is used for weapon creation, it can no longer become a soldier again. Next, the scene shifted to India, to the Azura Guild. The guild was in ruins, and we saw a man, previously seen in the pyramid, thinking, "Forgive me, Suho, for repaying you this way." He had informed Thomas Andre that Suho had defeated his hunter, leading Andre to wreak havoc on the guild. Andre said, So, the brat who killed my hunter is in Korea? Let's go to Korea immediately. I never let anyone who harms mine go unpunished. In the sky, a gate opened, and inside, we saw a girl with ponytail hair standing before a giant dragon shadow soldier. It wasn't completely clear, but she could be Hunter Cha, and the shadow soldier might be Kessel. Chapter end here. For more, like and subscribe.